Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Jodo Cast, your Star Wars gaming podcast. This is episode 106. I had to check. I think it's 6. Yeah, it's 6. My name is Evan Lewis. What?
Mine too.
Your name is Evan Lewis? That's a coincidence. I never knew.
I am Evan Lewis.
Harvey!
We are
I'm
all
Batman.
Evan Lewis.
Oh, you meant like his name is Robert Paulson? That's Leo Andry and Joe Latomsky, since we're jumping ahead.
I thought I was Evan.
Nope.
Are we switching characters this
There
week?
can be only one. I am the Highlander. That's from Aqua Teen. Anyways, so now that you know who we are, let me tell you about people who are much more important than us, and that's the patrons. This show is brought to you by patrons like you. And I don't think we have any new ones this week, but we will never cease to say how amazing patrons are. They make our world go round, and if you want to find out more about them, you can go to patreon.com/thejodocast, or you can go to jodocast.com to find a link to Patreon. You can also find a link to all of our social media sites and accounts, including our Discord server, which I'd say is the happiest place on Earth until a fight breaks out. And then it's still pretty happy after that. But, you know, you gotta have a bar brawl every now and then. And if you are listening to us through osmosis, you could also find us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play Music and Spotify and Stitcher and YouTube, if you prefer to look at a still image while you listen to us. And having said all that, let's talk about what we've been playing. How about Leo?
I've been playing... Have I even played Legion since we last were together? I don't think so. Maybe not. I've been playing some X-Wing League. And I had to play Battlefront the other night thanks to Joe.
Ugh, I'm sorry.
Me too.
Yeah.
Evan, you used to enjoy playing that with me. What happened?
I stopped taking drugs. No, wait, I started taking drugs. No. I don't know. I uninstalled it. I had to make room for better things in life.
Well, yeah, okay. We all had a marvelous time playing Battlefront, especially after Leo rage quit.
Did that literally happen? Was it literally a rage quit?
Yeah.
He just we noticed he wasn't there anymore. And he was like, I can't do this anymore. And we were like, okay, bye. And then we had a nice little time.
Did Leo bail in the middle of a match?
I don't remember.
Like you do.
So it wasn't that memorable, is what you're saying. His exit was very... What do they call that? An Irish exit?
I feel like there's a scene in Letterkenny where they talk about all the different types of exits and goodbyes.
You're correct. There is. You even broke up for a second, but I knew exactly what you were talking about. Was that all you've been playing, Leo?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we know Joe was forcing you to play Battlefront. I would assume he played with you.
I didn't force anybody to do anything.
Yeah,
I
you
said,
did.
Hey,
You did.
A couple other people, do you want to play Battlefront? And then Leo goes, I guess I'll have to reinstall it, even though I didn't invite him. Because I knew he didn't want to anyways.
I've done my time.
It's kind of masochistic of him. He's like, oh, I gotta install it so I can complain about it.
I mean, he has to be contrarian. That is his nature. He's like Bizarro Superman. He's just negative everything, or negative man, or something like that. The one from Spider-Man.
Mr. Negative.
Mr. Negative. So what else, Joe?
What else? Played some Legion. New Legion League has started up. And got in a game of Outer Rim because we were trying to make a video, but that technical difficulties happened, so I'm going to try again next weekend. So hopefully we'll have an Outer Rim gameplay video sometime. And Outer Rim is still fun.
It's not the same old thing over and over again?
Nope.
Well, that's good.
Sure isn't.
Well, all right. Since the last time we did a Jodo Prime episode, have gotten to play and learn more about Legion, because we have Legion Night, and even though I've only played of the past 4 or so weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, however many it's been, I've played maybe 3 times. But I've, like I think I mentioned on the last one, when there's an odd number of people, since I'm the organizer, I make sure the other people get to play, and that gives me a chance to act as ref. And I did again, but it was still fun. It's fun to get the people together, and especially it was this past Tuesday was one guy's first time actually getting to play. Like a lot of people, he collected them and got them all painted, but hadn't gotten to play yet. So there you go. I got to help someone actually get a game in.
Uh-huh. That's good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a proud papa now?
I do. Although it's slightly not disappointing, but aggravating, because the store that we play at closes at 9, which is fine and reasonable. But then when we start at 6, or we attempt to start at 6, we usually don't get started until maybe 6:30. And by the time it's 8:45 and time to start cleaning up, we almost always only get through 3 rounds. So I don't know if that's the fact that we're all playing really slow, or if that's kind of expected.
You're playing a little slow.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly people who are not very good at the rules and are still learning anyways, so we pretty reliably get through 3 rounds between like 6:30 and 8:30.
But yeah, I mean, you play if you're playing a casual game and a more casual game and stuff, and it's with newer people, you're not going to get through 6 rounds in 2 hours.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I mean, it certainly seemed to be the case, but I'm glad we weren't just jacking something up. So that's kind of it as far as Star Wars games. I've been playing some Destiny 2, not Star Wars Destiny, the card game, but Destiny, the video game. And of course, the Monday RPG session is back on, and I'm running that one, so that's always fun. And we're not doing Star Wars yet again, but we're doing D&D, and it's still a lot of fun. So there you go, end of story. And we will move on to our topic of the day, because I think it's going to be a little bit of a long one. I think there's going to be a lot of opinions on this one. So I think, you know what? I think since the last time that we did a Jodo Prime, the street date of Star Wars Legion Clone Wars core set and its expansions shifted a few times. First, we thought it was going to be, October 4th? And then got shifted to October 18th.
Yes, that is what it currently is. It's October 18th.
All right. So hopefully I can get this show out before then so that it's relevant. But we're going to take a look at what is coming out on the 18th and kind of discuss what our plans are for that, for not just those specific boxes, like are we going to buy those, yes or no, but how it affects what we are going to be buying going forward, how it affects our armies, what our plans are, and just where we see ourselves approaching the game once this comes out. And then once it is out, we will come back and talk more about actually getting started with the game and giving some tips, or at least our own thoughts on what new people should expect. Because I would imagine, well, in fact, I can confirm that there are people who have been waiting until Clone Wars came out for Legion to start, or they just had no interest in it until someone said, hey, battle droids or clone troopers are coming. So Battle clones are coming. So let's take a quick look at everything coming out on the 18th. So you got the core set, and that's the Separatists with 2 units of B1 battle droids. I believe I should have looked it up since it's on the internet. 1 unit of droidicas, right? Just the one? So 2 models?
Correct.
Okay.
4 minis. 4 minis.
Oh, it's 4 to a unit.
So, well, no, it's only 2 in a unit, but you'll get 2 minis in like walking mode and 2 minis in rolling mode.
Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. And then 1 General Grievous that can be built 4 ways. So it's 4 units worth for the Separatists. And then on the Republic side, you've got 2 units of Phase 1 clone troopers, 1 Bark Speeder, right?
Yep.
And then 1, the only General Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's the core box, which is going to be $100, which is more than original core, unless I'm terribly mistaken. Again, I should have actually confirmed these things before doing this, but such is life. And the same day, we are getting the expansion box of Phase 1 Clone Troopers and the expansion box of B1 Battle Droids.
Yes, and also I believe the upgrade pack is supposed to come out at the same time, the upgrade card pack.
Yep, and I think they did confirm that on the recent Legion AMA on Twitch and YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, it sounds like the Bark and Droidica expansions will not be coming out on the 18th.
Yeah. It did sound like those will be delayed, though by how much?
Didn't we know that those would be delayed since they announced everything? Weren't they like, the clones and the droid packs will be out alongside the core set and the other ones won't be? I feel like we've known that since
maybe. It's still, I don't know. The order they're doing this release in has always been strange to me. Like the fact that the vehicles or the support units expansions aren't going to come out the same time as the core set. The heavies aren't coming out at the same time as the core set. I don't like that.
Yeah, and so those
saves me money.
Well, yeah, that's true. So that's part of the discussion. And the projection, I think, is that the Bark Speeder and Droidica expansions will be probably still in 2019, but late if we're lucky, and then somewhere in the nether realm of late 2019, early 2020 are the rest of the cool things that they have announced, like Captain Rex, the Phase 2 clone troopers, the clone Saber tank, Count Dooku, Super Battle Droids, and the Trade Federation tank. And the only one that I'm not sure about, the only pair I'm not sure about, are the unit upgrades, the core unit upgrades, the recently announced ones for all of the factions, where they just give some new models.
those aren't going to be until 2020.
Okay, so those are for sure next year.
Yep.
Okay, so with the rest of 2019, basically all of Q4 is just going to be core, trooper expansions, maybe if we're lucky, Bark Speeder and Droidicas. for each of us. Does that affect...
Or no. The trooper upgrades are supposed to come out before the end of the year. I'm sorry. So.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, on the fly correction, perfectly all right.
Yeah, no, that is one thing they said during the stream the other day. At least, as long as they stick to the schedule, they're expecting it to release before the end of the year. And of note, that's also going to be the very last pack of anything with the soft plastic in it.
True. Another very good point that I want to touch on a little bit later. So, all that having been said, our Q4 2019 could be very full of buying new stuff, but I'm curious to hear how, for each of you, how that's going to affect your current armies or what your plans are for them. And just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, for me, I really don't have any interest in the droids. They seem fun, but I don't want to run them. I just don't. And I'm glad, because right now with Rebels and Empire, I kind of like both. So I'm not focusing on one. But with this, like if I can just do clones, that's great. Because I'm hoping to be able to split a core set with someone local. Someone who is excited for droids. So that's going to work out very well for me. So I'm not feeling like I'm going to have to spend too much. I'm not planning on getting one of everything. And I had not actually picked an army, Rebels or Empire, to focus on yet. I've still just been buying for both sides to keep parity, because I'm the friend that has the models when I can get other people to play. It's not like I have a huge community. I'm trying to help build the community. But even then, it's like, well, what did you bring? You know, one guy says, oh, I only play Empire. Like, well, I'm glad I have Rebels. But then the opposite could happen the next week.
You could just, why don't you just play your Empire against his Empire?
Yeah, it could, but to me, it seems less interesting. But that's just me. That's just my weird narrative bias. So, Leo, you were the last one to say something. So, how do the Q4 Clone Wars releases affect you? What are your plans for it, if anything? Because if one of the three of us is not going to bother, I'm guessing it would be you, but you probably still will.
Yeah, no, I'm buying everything. Piles of it.
Just one of everything or two of everything?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm getting 2 core sets. I'm going to get one of each of the trooper expansions. I'll get one of each of the support expansions whenever those come out. I'll probably get at least one of each of the tanks when those hit. You know, enough to build armies.
Okay. So basically, you're choosing not to slow down at all.
That's correct. Well, I mean, I maybe will some, like as more, like with the Rebel and Imperial units. I don't know what all we're going to be seeing for them in the future. I mean, we obviously are going to get more of them, but I probably won't be buying multiples quite as often anymore of those. But I'll still get at least one of everything. Except for those trooper upgrade packs, I'm probably going to buy at least like 3 or 4 of those.
Why?
Because they're like cool. What if I want to run like 4 stormtrooper units with T-21s in them?
I'm sorry. I must have misheard. I thought you were talking about the card packs.
No, not the card packs. The trooper upgrade.
Like the heavy weapon type stuff?
Yeah, the heavy weapon and the personnel slot guys. Because, yeah, like I said, I want to run a whole pile of T-21 stormtroopers.
I plan on getting 2 core sets. Probably an extra thing of battle droids. And probably an extra thing of clone troopers. I think with 2 core sets, I'll be able to build 800 without buying the extra thing of clones. That's what I did with my rebels. I never bought an extra thing of rebel troopers
that you didn't give away.
Oh yeah, you can get to 800 pretty easily with just
Especially
4
in the
units
Republic.
of clones.
Republic are a little more expensive, so points wise. So I'm planning on doing both factions, but I'm probably gonna be buying less of the Republic stuff because I don't want to paint the clones as much as I want to paint the droids, and it'll be easier to build full lists with less stuff for the Republic. And originally I was planning on just doing Separatists, because right now I'm just doing the Rebels, but I can't ignore Kenobi and the rest of the clone stuff. But I also can't ignore all the droids and Grievous, so I'm going for both on this one. But I'll probably stick with what I've been doing. I typically only get 1 of each expansion, even if it's like, competitive where you should buy 2 of these. I've only been getting 1 of each thing. Anything I have double of is, I think the Rebel Specialist pack was the only thing I went and bought a second of besides the core set. Anything else I have a double of is from making a trade or getting a present or something.
And you might have answered this in everything you just said, but is that going to slow down your current army buying?
No, I'll still get 1 of every Rebel thing that comes out.
Okay.
And I'm sure they'll be coming out a little bit more slowly, at least at first. So I don't think it's going to...
Yeah, because I mean, between now and the end of the year, I think the only Rebel stuff we're really expecting to see would be, the Trooper pack,
And
Luke, and then the Escape Pod with R2 and 3PO.
I'm excited about that escape pod. I almost want to buy a second one because it would be fun to have 2 on the field, and then I could use one of my 3POs to mod one of my battle droids into battle droid 3PO head swap, or 2 of my battle droids, I guess. But yeah, so I'm gonna get both factions, but I'm probably not gonna be buying them as much as the other ones because that's all really expensive.
So do either of you... Well, I guess if neither of you is trying to focus down on a specific army currently, then I guess you're not really anticipating switching focus to a new army.
Well, I think...
I mean, I'll probably be mostly playing droids and clones here for a while, since they'll be the new hotness,
Right.
but...
Yeah, I've played Rebels enough that I'm going to be happy to ignore them for a while. And even probably after Luke comes out, I'm honestly not that interested in the new operative Luke.
the Vader operative.
Yeah, he seems the more interesting one.
I think I'll probably focus on clones because I have a feeling it'll be... Well, what do you think is going to be faster if I focus only on one of the 2 factions I'm buying, putting them together, and painting them? What do you think's faster? I feel like droids are going to be faster to paint, but they're going to take way longer to assemble. So I'm trying to figure out which army I can get painted faster.
Well, it also depends on how you assemble them. Like if you're using plastic glue, it's going to take a little bit longer to assemble them. If you use super glue, you can put them together a fair bit faster.
Well, I'll have to use super glue for the clone.
Well, yeah, for the clones. I meant
yeah.
for the droids. I meant for the droids, though. If you use super glue, they will assemble faster.
But
well, if you drop them, there's a chance they'll pop apart and stuff. Whereas if you use plastic glue, that probably wouldn't happen.
Okay, so I had wanted to save this part of the discussion for a little bit later, but I think it's an important thing to note that with the droids, you certainly can continue to use superglue that you've been using for every other Legion piece that's come out. But, as you just mentioned, plastic glue is a new option with the hard plastic, and that's going to be the case with all the I'm going to just call them next-gen models coming out in 2020. And if there are people listening who are not aware of what plastic glue does, how it works differently than super glue, and we might have talked about this on a modeling episode or a painting episode, but it bears saying again because I have had people in person not be aware of what the difference is. Plastic glue actually melts plastic together. It doesn't get your hands sticky, which is very nice, and it creates a super strong bond at the plastic joint. And
yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not. It's less of a. It's not. It's a little different. I don't know if I'd call it a bond, but it's. I mean, you're actually melting the two pieces together, which is different than bonding them together.
Okay, the weld.
I don't know.
The weld.
Anyway, yeah, sure. Let's call it. It welds them together. I like that, especially if you're doing the droids. It's thematically appropriate.
It is. That's very true. See, you just got to stick with the narrative, folks. So because I work with other models, the Warhammer ones specifically, and those are all hard plastic, I really enjoy using plastic glue, and I think it works very well. Like I don't have any issues with it at all in terms of either length of time to finish the weld or otherwise.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of a time factor because, I mean, it's not like, super glue for the most part, generally, it's like you stick two pieces together and boom, they're stuck together then.
Especially if it's your fingers.
Yeah. But with plastic glue, you do have to kind of press and hold for a few seconds, before, the reaction starts and everything starts like melting together and it holds. So there's that's a bit of a disadvantage. At the same time, it can be an advantage because you can put two pieces together and then still have a little bit of time to adjust the fit or the pose or whatever while they're kind of stuck together, but everything hasn't fully cured yet.
Yeah, they kind of sit there for a second to give you some time to play with it, which I also enjoy, and that was even mentioned on Sarastro's droid painting episode that came out recently. And so if folks don't have these items yet, I would heartily recommend either looking for a starter kit or the individual pieces of plastic glue and sprue clippers. When people tell me that they use a craft knife or an X-Acto knife to cut pieces off of a sprue, I kind of die inside a little because I feel like you're gonna cut yourself.
Leo,
bro.
I didn't say it.
I've never cut myself cutting a mini out of the sprues with my X-Acto knife. It works just fine. You don't. Also, if you're gonna buy one, just go to the hardware store and buy like a $2 wire clippers. Don't go buy the Citadel or Army Painter sprue clippers because they're the same damn thing. It's just the Citadel one's gonna cost you the Army Painter one's gonna cost you $15, and the Citadel one's gonna cost you $25. Or you could go to Menards and or Lowe's and buy yourself one for like $5.
See, I had been planning on just using my X-Acto knife because I don't want to go buy a new thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've done all the Warhammer stuff that Evan bought me for Christmas for my birthday, whatever it was. I've done all that. I've popped all that out of the sprues with the X-Acto knife. It's fine. I will say, if you are doing a large volume, I do feel like some kind of clippers is probably going to be nicer and faster, though. Just don't pay for the stupid brand name.
The kit.
Yeah, I am like ending up at a game store that carries one of the stupid brand name is something that'll just happen to me if I don't change the course of my daily life. Going to a hardware store is something I have to like go out of my way to do. So it's like, would I rather pay more or actually have to take a separate trip and go somewhere?
What kind of man are you that you don't go to the hardware store?
I am a renter.
Good man.
No, but actually, I think what Evan was probably about to say when we totally interrupted him was going to be a good point, and I'm guessing you're going to talk about like the Citadel starter kits, right?
I did do research on this actually, and yes, you are correct. There's a Citadel starter kit that in itself is a really good deal because you get like 13 paints and a whole thing of plastic glue and a paintbrush, like just a medium-sized one, and some cheap but really good clippers that are not the $33. I'm not even kidding. $33 Citadel clippers are what the fancy ones that are just by themselves. These ones are nice. They have a soft grip on them. It's the same ones that I've been using for a year.
And that's what I think. I almost bought that kit last night because it's like $30 for the whole kit, and I mean it's like almost worth it just for the paints. But it was mostly colors I wasn't going to use, so I changed or don't use that often. So I decided I put it back.
Yeah, it's a lot of basic colors. I thought it was a lot of basic colors. It's for Ultramarines and Death Guard essentially is what it's meant for. So yeah, that one's I think between 30 and 40, but I think it's a good deal just in itself.
Yeah, it was 33 at my store when I was looking last night. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna buy that stuff, that's the way to do it. Is in one of those kits. Otherwise, there was also there was an Age of Sigmar kit.
Yes.
Also, and that one was a little bit different. It had paints and clippers in the brush. It didn't have the glue, but then it had that mold line cleaner thingy that I think is, that's whatever, I guess, if you want that too. Or you could just use, again, an X-Acto knife. And if you're worried about cutting yourself, just use the back side of your X-Acto knife, the flat side.
I was going to say, just use chainmail gloves. That's all you need. But yes, the Age of Sigmar one does have the mold line remover, and owning a mold line remover, I think it's wonderful. Because I've tried to use an X-Acto knife as an edge cleaner, and I found that I was gouging the model more than myself, but I was still gouging it considerably. And the mold line remover does a nice job, I think.
See, I guess I very rarely have ever done that. There's a couple times where I will go and it'll be like, oops. I will say it happens more with the soft plastic. The hard plastic's a little bit more forgiving with the X-Acto knife, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. And then there is also, on the Army Painter side, there's a couple kits. There's an $18 plastic assembly set that has plastic glue, clippers, and an X-Acto knife for $18. So that's not too bad. There's a much bigger one that I got last year when I was first getting into sprues.
That's actually not too bad of a value because, yeah, that's starting to get more towards the price of like what it would just cost if you went out, like I said, to the hardware store and bought like some clippers and a blade and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I certainly have not gotten like an X-Acto from Citadel because that would be also probably like $30. Oh, and then there's also the hobby kit that I got last year, Army Painter, that is $30, and that's got super glue, but then it's got a drill with adjustable removable drill bits, and it's got an X-Acto knife, and it's got clippers, and it's got a file, and it has this year's model has a sculpting tool. So it's the kind of like shovelly, pokey looking dental Looks like a dental pick kind of sculpting tool. You know what I'm talking about, Leo.
Yeah.
I think I have. I got a little 3-pack of sculpting tools. I remember I must have bought it at a game store, but it was cheap, and it's just these like 3 little metal things that look like dental things, but they all have different shaped ends.
And it looks like this year's kit comes with 2 little separate, like sample packs of green stuff.
Fancy.
Yeah. So that's not too bad.
I want to get one of those little hand drills one of these days.
I bought one of those to work on my land speeder because I wanted to magnetize my people to it, and I needed to be able to drill holes in the vehicle to put the magnets into. I got one on Amazon for, I don't remember, it must have been like, I can't imagine it was more than like $7. It was really cheap. And it came with like a bazillion different size drill bits, from kind of chunky to just insanely small. I don't think I could ever need that.
The word is thick, not chunky.
And it worked really well. It was a good purchase. What is the... It's... Oh, it doesn't have a brand name on it. But it has a lot of different size drill bits.
Do I hear swords?
It was a good purchase. No, that's a metal mug thing where my drill currently resides.
Okay. While you're looking at your drill, I use mine. I was trying to use my drill for magnetizing. I was trying to do that. I was experimenting on some Imperial Guardsmen. That did not go well. That experiment ended in a lot of tears, a lot of stuck fingers, and failure. So I said to heck with that. But I've continued to use my drill for boring out the gun barrels on 40K guys.
I think I mostly would want to use it for like pinning my minis to their bases.
Oh yeah, that's something else that I've been meaning to try out too, is pinning.
Because I drop my minis and snap them off their bases all the time.
Have you tried that yet, Joe? Or is that old hat for you?
I've never tried it, and I've never really thought I needed to do it. I've like had a guy snap off his base like once, but I haven't really found that to be an issue I need to circumvent.
Yeah, I actually lost a base at a tournament one time. I dropped a guy on the floor, and the base rolled, who knows where. It was gone. Luckily, I was able to borrow a spare snowtrooper from the store's collection for the rest of the tournament. I think the base did eventually turn up like a week later.
Oh no!
Somebody found it.
Did you match the feet to the feet prints?
Like Cinderella?
Exactly.
Yes. And then we got married. Me and the snowtrooper.
Nice.
Nice little small ceremony on
Very
Hoth.
private.
Miniature ceremony.
Where were we?
We were talking about what we drill things with, and plastic glue, and what kind of blades people should get.
So I have a question I think I know the answer to. X-Acto is a brand, and calling everything an X-Acto knife is like calling every type of tissue Kleenex.
Yes.
Or every bandage Band-Aid.
That's correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I think the for us that the general term would be craft knife.
Hobby knife.
Hobby knife, sure, yeah.
Children's scalpel.
A children's scalpel.
I actually, one time I was reading some threads about cleaning up or I was trying to see what people thought of the mold line cleaner. So I was like just looking for threads about it on Reddit, and there was some guy in there insisting that like he orders like medical scalpels, and that's what he uses to clean his mold lines with. And he's
What are they, like $100 a piece?
I don't
mean,
know.
they're manufactured for like 2 cents, but
yeah.
whoever sells them.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he was. It was one of those posts where like you kind of give him the Fry squinty eye, like I'm not sure if you're serious or not.
Sounds like something somebody at like a game store would say. They'd never have the thing with them. Like, I actually get them from the local clinic because they're statistically better at scraping off mold lines.
I could clean my mold lines approximately 23.2% better and faster.
My uncle, who works at Nintendo, told me this is what they use.
I went to medical school just so that I could get better at cutting off mold lines.
I found the drill I bought.
Oh.
On Amazon.
Grats.
It is a pin vise hand drill. Comes with 20 bits. It has a long... it's by Werkzeug. It was $13, and it was worth it. I'll post a link in the painting and crafting thing on our Discord and pin it, so by the time you hear this, if you really care, you can go find it. I thought it was a good purchase.
Neato.
Yeah, it turns out that this side topic is a bit more substantive than what I thought our main topic would be. I thought our main topic would be a bit more contentious about, well, is this going to slow you down? Is this going to change what you buy? And you're just like, nah, we're just going to keep buying everything. Maybe just one of everything instead of two of everything.
Yeah.
That seems to be the consensus.
Yeah. I just, I'm going to take out another mortgage on my house and give it all to FFG.
Joe, what were you saying?
Which unit from each of the new factions are you most excited to play with?
Like, just from this first wave?
Because just every unit that's been announced so far. Which one are you most excited?
Because
one for each faction.
I'm really excited for Dooku. I think Dooku looks awesome. Obi-Wan. I mean, I guess it's gonna be like the heroes for the most part. Dooku and Obi-Wan. Although, the Phase 2 clone troopers seem pretty good too.
Yeah, that's what I am most looking forward to. I want Rex and the Phase 2s. The Phase 1s and all that are fine, and having Obi-Wan is pretty rad, although I wish that the Obi-Wan in the core box was going to be customizable outside of requiring surgery. I am not excited for the Bark Speeder at all.
Yeah.
Not one bit. I'm sorry. I
like that the sidecar actually can rotate backwards.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So one thing, speaking of customization, one thing they did mention during the stream also was they said that the Phase 1 clone troopers, the ones that we're going to be getting in the core set, are basically them pushing the soft plastic like as far as it can go, as far as detail and poses and customizability and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is one thing they did kind of say is in some ways, especially with, we might see a little bit of a step backwards for the first few waves of hard plastic stuff, just because it's a new material. They have to learn new tools. They have to learn, and stuff like that, which is why the Phase 2 clone troopers, which are then going to be in hard plastic, are actually going to be less customizable than the Phase 1s were, which is I thought kind of interesting. Yeah,
it definitely will be very interesting. I'm wondering if it'll be an easier transition from PVC to hard plastic than apparently going from metal to plastic was for Games Workshop on some of those models. Because if anyone wants to see what old models used to look like back in the day, they still got a few up on the GW website, and they're not pretty. But yeah, they've done a really good job doing what they could with the soft plastic on Legion. I mean, there have been just market improvements within Legion itself, not to mention some of their older games compared to what we have now.
Yeah, I mean, just take a look at all those stormtroopers in the core set box, and then compare them to the stormtroopers we're going to be getting in the trooper expansion. It's, I mean, even just stuff like the fact that there's a million more details in the shoulder pauldrons. Like, it always kind of bothered me on the core set guys how the shoulder pauldron just sort of like melts down into the rest of his shoulder, like a big chunky thing. It's just sort of like an orange tumor growing out of the side of his...
Yeah. Well, and there's one stormtrooper from the core box whose backpack does that. Just sort of melts into him.
Yeah, some things I can tell when you really look at stuff that they've obviously sculpted these in 3D and are, reusing elements, which makes sense. Everyone has the same model gun and backpack, and you can see where they've kind of no-clipped certain elements through other elements when, maybe somebody's got a bunch of stuff on their back.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, actually. I hadn't really considered that, but now that you describe it that way, that makes a lot of sense. And they definitely do have a lot of the same backpacks, at least in the core set guys.
I can't think of any specific examples, but I feel like if you looked, maybe like I don't know. I can't think of anything. But I'm pretty sure if you peek around people's backpacks, you might see where elements are kind of, maybe they go through a hood, or you can tell, like, in a 3D space, you could, like, pull that backpack out. But I don't know. I mean, it's obviously fine, and I think I've never been...
Yeah. I hope when the clone trooper snipers come out that the unit leader also has 6 fingers.
What?
Oh, does the
scout
trooper have 6 fingers?
Yeah, the scout trooper unit leader has 6 fingers.
Where's my scouts? Where are my scouts at? I gotta find this.
Legion, scout,
they're in the box.
trooper, 6 fingers. Images.
Whose father did he kill?
Not finding any good images. There's an unboxing video from Krabik. Maybe. Anyway, that's funny.
So whenever you start a game of Legion and you see they're playing scouts, you have to ask them, do you happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand? Come on.
It is actually his right hand.
Oh!
It's the one that's holding his electro binoculars.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Electro binocular guy. Let's see. The left hand is the one holding the binoculars.
Yeah, that's what I said, is his left hand.
I feel like I'm being gaslit.
I think we both are, but...
If you don't have any, I'll take a picture of one of mine when we're done here and post it so you can see just how many fingers the dude truly has.
Okay.
Or maybe the clone one can have 7 fingers, and then like the next version of a sniper they put out can have 8. There's just like a giant hand of 1,000,000 fingers holding a sniper rifle.
Man, every single picture of these guys on the internet seems to be them like from the opposite side of where his hand is on, so you can't really see how many fingers are on the
Oh, yeah. Which, from a photography standpoint, makes sense, because then you can see the whole guy. If it's from the side we want, he's mostly covering himself up with that arm. Hey, look, it's your... I think this is yours. I just Googled Star Wars Legion Scout Troopers, and I'm pretty sure this one is yours. Camo Scout Troopers? Did you make camo guys?
With the tall tufts of grass?
Yes, it was yours.
Yep, that's mine.
You took the picture from the not finger.
Well, if you go to the thread, there might be the other ones, because I thought I took the picture from others. Oh, I guess I only posted the one picture. This is some good content for our show right now, by the way.
Hey,
this is all you. Your homework, listeners. You need to find us some decent... Oh, I found one. Oh, it's also from Leo. It was before he did the bases. 1, 2, 3, 4. You did not choose to highlight the extra finger.
See, I didn't realize. I think on him, that one, I did not realize it was a finger. I thought it was like just a bump on the binoculars at first. But then when I did subsequent ones, I was all like, wait a minute, that's a finger. He's got 2 pinkies.
Yeah, he's got 2 pinkies. And you know what? That's fine. Good for him. We're making it work. Case closed. Homework canceled. No one needs to send us any pictures of extra pinkies. It does help him hold those binoculars better.
Sure.
I'm most excited to play with Obi-Wan and probably Grievous. And to paint and stuff too, especially Grievous, because I'll probably do up 2 Grievouses, because I'm going to want one with 4 lightsabers, and then probably one with a cape and a pistol and 1 lightsaber.
I'm still contemplating whether I want to attempt what I've seen. I've seen one guy. He did drew inspiration from the Gendy Clone Wars. So it's like he actually has like Grievous leaping through the air he's got 2 lightsabers in his arms and one in one of his feet claws.
I saw that one. It's really cool.
It is a bit more work modifying him like that, though. So
I wonder if you can get him to pose just kind of like I don't know, what do the kids call it? T-pose, where he's just kind of standing with his arms straight out, but with the lightsabers pointing directly up.
I don't think so, because I think it looked like the arms themselves are kind of like those are sculpted at like whatever angles they are.
I want to
but like at the shoulders just sort of look like they're kind of like a ball that you just sort of stick the arm onto, and then you can have it sit on the ball joint however you want.
I want to get I think I'd probably need around 48 Grievous models, so I can model 1 for each frame of the film where he busts out all 4 lightsabers and kind of spins them and points them at Obi-Wan. So I can pose 1 for each frame, and then I can run them on like a Lazy Susan real fast and film it.
What the hell?
Like a kinetoscope, I think is what they're called.
Wow.
That would be sweet.
Oh,
and
okay.
A lot of time.
Yeah, it would be. And then you could end it like a Mr. Bill sketch.
Oh no!
General Grievous!
I wish you the best of luck in that endeavor, Joe.
Or, see, this is what us as creatives are here for. We are here to inspire others, so I am challenging somebody else to do that, not me.
We are influencers.
Yeah, somebody make a stop-motion animation out of posing different droid things. Like how people make the little Lego stop-motion, do that, but with Legion.
Well, if you use super glue to connect those limbs, you can always put them in the freezer and they'll snap right off. So you take a picture, you put them in the freezer, snap it off, readjust.
Like a dreadlock.
Like a dreadlock, yes. Actually, no, that is a real pro tip. If you super glue something together incorrectly and the joint is not too large, you can put it in the freezer, it will weaken the bond, and you can snap it off without any actual damage to either piece. Unless they're teeny tiny pieces, in which case you just did it wrong and you're screwed. But I am thinking that we may have reached the end of this episode. Unless Joe can come up with anything else for us to talk about.
I'm really excited about both tanks.
Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about the
Saber
tanks
tank looks... I've always loved the design of that tank since Battlefront 2 original. It looks really cool. It's huge model. I love just the standard colors on it. The AAT for the droids, I've never really cared about, but just seeing it as a giant model on the table, I'm all of a sudden super pumped about it.
Agreed.
And I love that they can strafe side to side. Just everything about those two models has me really excited, and I haven't really even scrutinized the little pictures of the upgrade cards and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know how they will play, but just the pictures of them all painted up, it looks like they're going to be super fun to just set on the table and be like, aha, I have this.
Of all the tanks that they've released, those do look the best, to me at least. I haven't really cared for many of the other tanks, but these ones both look pretty sweet. I am looking forward to running just a 100% clone trooper army, no Jedi. Give me plenty of clone commanders.
Oh, so you have to wait for Rex to come out.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm looking forward to that day.
Same heart, same blood.
That's right. Yeah. So, Leo, anything else to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, I think this is going to be a bit more of a quick one, but we'll certainly have a lot to talk about when we come back to Jodo Prime and we have Clone Wars in our hands, and maybe we've done some more constructing and maybe some playing, and we will talk about how new people can get started with the game. And with that, take care. We'll see you next time. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for patroning, and have a good week. Goodbye.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna bust into the Halo music.
Do 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 do. 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 Do 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 do. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.